We are playing some Wolfenstein 3D. And let me know if the audio is properly balanced. I've actually got a new audio setup going on right now, and I'm not sure how that's working out. I tested it against Gunbusters, which I think was alright, but Wolfenstein sounds a little louder. Just want to make sure that it doesn't drown out the audio of my speaking. Alright, so let's start a new game. Episode 1. And we'll play on Don't Hurt Me. Not because I don't think I could play on something higher. I just really want to. I'm not really looking to be challenged. That might be the wrong word. Actually, I do think I'm going to lower my desktop audio real quick. Just because this game is a lot louder than... oh, dang. Alright. Looking at the levels, this should be alright. If it's not, someone let me know. But yeah, I don't want to say that I'm not looking to be challenged. I don't want to just cakewalk through this, but at the same time, I'm not particularly playing these games to get frustrated. I don't want to sit on the same level for hours trying to get past a specific area or a specific enemy. I'm not going to outright say that I dislike these games, but there's certainly... Are you serious? I thought you could sneak up on these guys and take them out in one hit. Oh, all these are different colors. I was messing around with that. And I guess I never fixed them, so to speak. Alright, so this is, I probably could have handled this a lot better. But, we'll make do. It's an early level. I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble getting myself back up to full health. There's a lot of, chicken dinners at the beginning, so... we just gotta make our way back there. Yep, right here. Oh, they're only 10 health apiece, though. For some reason I thought they were more. Like, 25 maybe. That's okay. You know what's crazy is this game actually has really good positional audio. Oh, the med kits are 25. Yeah, when I ran past that, I heard that guy yell. You know, sort of yell. In my left headphone. So, that's kind of cool. And I'm actually not going to be going for score. I've never been a huge fan of that. Yeah, that's it. I'm kind of remembering some of this stuff. I had Wolf 3D and Spear Destiny on a laptop years ago when I was a kid. I kind of remember Spear of Destiny's maps a little better. But, you know, I think I'll be alright. This should be the exit though. Yep. Alright. Moving right along here. Let's see if I can remember where I put... Very nice. Alright. Yeah, these doors closing sound like... what do they sound like? Guns. Alright, so, actually, you know, the whole point of this thing is to kind of see the evolution of the genre. And I want to point out something very interesting. Is that a lot of this has been how the genre has gotten better. We've seen the graphics increase. And we've seen design choices become more intricate. Let's back down. We've seen invisible enemies. We've seen enemies that can go under the water. We've seen moving textures for walls. And honestly, this is a step down from Catacomb, the Adventure Trilogy. Now, it could be that we just got done playing Gunbusters and I don't have a proper palette cleanser to separate the two, and that's my fault. So maybe on a graphical level, this isn't all that different from Catacomb, and I think I will go back and kind of review them against each other with my old footage and see what I think of it there. But from a gameplay perspective, Catacomb was so much better. Oh. And some of that's going to come down to preference. I like projectile-based combat over hit scan. And this is hit scan. Straight up. No other way to look at it. When they point their gun and fire, if you're in the way, you get hit. You know, same thing for you. I'm just not a big fan of that. But on the other side of things too, we have lost the combat arenas that were prevalent in Apocalypse. Yep, Apocalypse. And I know I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty level, and maybe we do see a larger amount of enemies per area in that. But we've seen 2 in a room, I think, was a top here. And I honestly don't know if that is a limitation of the game engine or of their idea. Because, so, I don't know if you know this. The story behind this, though, is that there was an old game called Wolfenstein. It was kind of like adventure. I don't want to say top-down. But it was a 2D game, but not played like a platformer. I guess top-down's not a bad description for it. And It was about infiltrating a Nazi stronghold, but it wasn't really combat based as much. It was, hey. What in the world? Oh. Let's, fortunately load that. It wasn't combat-based as much as it was stealth-based. You weren't a walking powerhouse. You weren't going to, kill everyone you saw. A lot of it was sneaking around, stealing key cards. And they loved it, the guys at id, and they wanted to use their new Catacomb engine to make a three-dimensional sequel for it. So the idea of having a small amount of enemies per room is not incompatible with the game that they were trying to make, assuming they actually did want to make it based off of the original Wolfenstein idea. They wanted to stick to that concept of low number encounters, low enemy encounters. Come on. Are we done here? Key. I didn't know this game had keys. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. My headset is giving me the beep that it's getting low on batteries. Oh man. May have to cut this a little short due to being ill-prepared. Right. Wonder how many floors are per episode. Maybe I can burn through at least an episode. That would be optimal, I think. There also seems to be a damage coefficient based on distance. And I think that was a way to combat the player's ability to basically snipe due to the hit scan. Now see, another thing, going back to the graphics, Catacomb I don't think had hallways this long, so maybe it didn't have a chance to show how pixelated the textures could be at that kind of distance, but it adds to I don't want to say an ugliness, but a reduced visibility, readability of distant objects. And I've actually shot a tree when I came out of a door once. I don't know if you saw that. It wasn't that long ago. Because I thought it was a bad guy. They're the same color beige. But it was too far away, and it lacked so it lacked a definition for me to really tell what it was. And I don't remember that happening in Catacomb. Let me pause this real quick. Oh, and this should work. I got a portable battery. If I hook my headset up to that, I should be able to get some more time out of the stream. Alright, this appears to be working. No, we are not leaving. You're going back to the game. Alright. Now, are those destructible? Nope. That is something interesting, though. And I sort of, I guess it's the little things that made Wolf... That Wolf was an improvement over the past. And a lot of that comes down to me, comes down to the audio. Actually, enemies opening doors is something new too. However, I don't like how you can't use items that you are not looking at. I don't know if that was to stop a bug or an abuse of something. I can't believe they just arbitrarily do that. It seems like a strange distinction. Another thing I am missing though is the tell on fake walls. Now I understand that Catacomb required you to destroy walls. This is more of a secret. You get a bonus for being crafty. It's more of a reward for just pushing on every wall, but I don't see that as a good thing. Also, I have no map. And I can't... Hover Tank had the radar. I don't think Catacomb had anything. Catacomb 3D. And then the Adventure series brought the radar back. Well, more like a compass. Not having anything is disorienting. Especially when everything looks the same. This is a problem I had in Hover Tank. And maybe to a lesser extent Catacomb 3D, I don't remember. But with the sameness, every area is the same. You got these stone walls, you got the blue doors. It's easy to get lost in the maze. I'm actually going to save right here. Just because we have full health, full ammo, and I've covered quite a bit of this level. And I think I'm going to start doing that. In Catacomb, I didn't really save mid-level. I didn't feel I needed to, but this game is a lot deadlier. One simple mistake, one simple unseen guard can completely ruin a run. And that already happened to me once on level 2, so... I was kind of certain I'd been swarmed. Although dying in level 2 definitely made me appreciate picking the second difficulty instead of a third. Now I know I said I wasn't gonna go for score, but it just dawned on me that score is probably used to award extra lives. Says my battery is low, but I don't know how that could be possible when I've plugged this in. Unless I have a bad cable. Let me change cables and see if that fixes it. Alright. There we go. A longer cable too, so that actually might help a bit. Alright, I guess we'll wait and see what happens. I didn't get the indicator on my battery that we're plugged in, but maybe it doesn't do that. Or this device? I should. Unless the port on my headphones is bad. I guess that wouldn't be completely unusual. It's Logitech and they are known for having issues with their headsets. Alright, anyways, let's get back on track. I feel like I've gotten way off topic here. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. I need a key though. Come on. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that I end up using maps on. The last time I played through Lakestone, I had to do it. And it's actually one of the reasons why I'm greatly looking forward to Doom. I don't know what it is about Doom's level design. I don't know if it's just straight up Romero being a genius. Actually, I guess Romero didn't do every single level, so I can't attribute the whole thing to him. But you don't really get lost in Doom. You can get lost. But you don't stay lost. You aren't in a perpetual state of frustration trying to figure out where the keys are or the door that goes to a key. The levels are designed, interestingly enough, I guess would be a way, or unique enough that you can find your way around. And I know part of that is due to the quasi three-dimensionalness of it. Okay, this was not the... Come on! Make me waste my bullets and health. I almost feel like there's also a randomness to damage. Yeah, like I was saying, you know, some of it is due to the quasi 3D nature of it. I mean, it was a fake 3D. We all know that by now. but the stairs and the elevators, and I'm going the wrong way. But yeah, the stairs, the elevators, and that whole, basically adding that third dimension. You're not just moving left and right, you're also going up and down. It adds a lot to the memorability. Oh, that sounds completely wrong. Anyways, the ability for the player to navigate an area. I guess a better way to put it is that it creates landmarks that these square shapes do not. I mean, basically the only way to get through here is to remember I need to go through, the second door from the right. Not the door next to the weird pillar or the door by the pentagram. Oh. This is the pits. This really is. And the thing is, I had the same frustrating experience with Catacomb 3D and Hover Tank especially, and I'm just kind of ready to be done with it. I don't think there's any need for this to be a core experience of the FPS. There we go. And I appreciate that it isn't, a design core experience. Oh, geez, that hurt. I appreciate that it isn't a designed part of the core experience. It's not like they went out and said, we need to confuse the people who play it. But at the same time, there's got to be a point. When, people were telling these guys, hey, your game's way too confusing to play. And maybe that just didn't happen in the early 90s. We just accepted what we were given. We didn't complain about difficulty. But I feel like maybe we should have. And I want to make myself clear here on the concept of difficulty. I'm not talking about artificially removing a game's difficulty if the difficulty is the purpose of the game. Oh. I mean, it's kind of an overplayed discussion topic, but Dark Souls is a game about overcoming hardship. So the game needs to have hardship in it for the player to overcome so they can align their experience with the narrative, themes. That is 100% okay in my book. We don't need every game to be simple. But I don't feel like the idea... I don't feel like the idea of getting lost in a maze is central to the ideas of Wolfenstein. Now, Catacomb, maybe. I mean, the game is about you going into unexplored catacombs to fight an unnamed evil. Well, actually, it is named, isn't it? I forget its name. Nemesis? But, yeah, okay, so if it's there. I think Descent is another FPS that benefits from a player's lack of navigational skills. It's a game about being lost in an area. Especially with the 6 degrees of freedom bit that, doesn't just make the player come on, I couldn't even see ya. The player doesn't just get lost in areas themselves, but they can get disoriented based on the fact that they can be rotated upside down. Well, relative to, you know, the floor, whatever that may be. And I think that's a core theme to the game. But like I said, I don't think a core theme to Wolfenstein is getting lost in what is supposed to be Hitler's castle. I know that is a real creepy smile. I don't know, I mean, you know, I have to put it in perspective too. It's not like this is a modern game. Video games are still very new at this point. Well, first-person shooters are very new at this point. And the concept of tying levels in to fit thematically with the lore or with the narrative was not something that was being done. So I can give them a little leeway in that it wasn't a normal practice. So I can't really expect it in good faith. But I don't think it is disingenuous to say that I wish they had put it in. I think that is okay. I understand why it wasn't there, but I think it would have greatly enhanced the immersion of it by making it a believable place and tying in the levels to the narrative. But, you know, in a few games I'm going to play Doom and I'm just going to run around with Glee, tearing everything up, so I don't know. I'm completely lost right now. I guess that's one of the things that I should watch, is rambling and letting my brain turn off and just entering rooms and then getting lost. Because this is literally helping no one. It's probably a bit boring to watch. I'm going to tell you, it's a bit boring to play. And it could be easily avoidable if I had just paid attention to what I was doing, rather than just frothing at the mouth. Frothing at the mouth might be a bad way to put that. Not like I'm over here ranting, but this is the worst thing I've ever played. Okay. Have I got in here? Nope. Oh, that was dangerous. I didn't even check that corner. I do feel like turning is a bit fast. I wonder if there's a turn speed setting that I'm just missing. Oh man. I'm almost wondering if maybe I shouldn't have played this in a source port with mouse aim. I think it would be a bit disingenuous to the experience as I'm trying. You know, the idea is to see all of these games through on their own terms, to see the evolution of the genre, and that doesn't work if I'm playing with modern day enhancements. And I don't think it bothers me as much here. I think I would like to play with more traditional controls, but this is okay. But it's gonna come to Doom. I'm eventually gonna get to Doom, and I am not going to want to play that with classic controls. I'm going to want mouse aim on that. I'm going to want to use GD Zoom and get the best experience. I'm going to want to circle strafe these monsters because that's how I've played Doom the past 25 times. So I have a lot of games between now and then to make up my mind, to figure out what I want to do. But right now, I'm kind of set on playing Doom with GD source port. My only problem is I don't want to say it's a slippery slope fallacy because I feel like that gets thrown around a lot and it's only minorly connected to this idea, but the concept is kind of the same. If I allow myself to play Doom with a source port with modern enhancements, where do I stop? Do I only allow myself to play Doom with modern enhancements? What about when I want to play Rise of the Triad? Or the Build Engine games? Actually, I don't know that Rise of the Triad has a source port. But the Build Engine games, Blood and Duke 3D and Shadow Warrior all have updates. We got Duke's Megaton Edition. We have Shadow Warriors, I think it's called Redux. And Blood just came out with one by Night Dive Studios. I believe they were the guys behind it. So then that opens up a new thing about, you know, if I end up playing System Shock, which I'm still not sure. It is a first-person game. There are shooting elements to it. But it's not a first-person shooter in the strictest of terms. So I'm a little torn on that. I'm not sure if that was going to be included. But if I do play it, can I play the Night Dive version? You know, would that ruin my experience of the game? A lot of... I'm going to save right here because we've actually done a lot. You know, System Shock 1 is a very clunky game. I don't think anybody's going to argue with you on that. Or I don't think anyone's going to argue with me on that. It is a product of its time. 100%. Just completely based on its control scheme alone. Should I experience it as it was created? And if not, if the argument is that I should have the best experience with it, again, where does that stop? Is it just Doom? Because everybody's played Doom and everybody knows what it looks like and we're just enjoying our time with Doom? Is it just games like System Shock that don't translate well at all to modern day control schemes? And you know, I don't know. That's just going to be one of those things I'm going to have to feel out as I continue doing this little project. I don't have an answer for it. And, you know, for right now, that's okay. So far, I have chosen not to use source ports. Even vanilla-esque source ports. And the few games that I'm actually tempted to get some enhancements for, they're not out yet. Oh, wow, Brian, come on. I haven't gotten to them yet. They're still far away. So I have time to pontificate on this idea. Alright. If anybody oh yeah, I was gonna say, if anybody knows where I'm supposed to be going, hit me up in the chat. But I kind of remember where I'm at right now. Not a combat arena, but more interesting than any of the other encounters I've had so far, so I will take it. See? Going sideways though, you don't get items. I don't know. Alright. Floor 6. I heard a dog. I don't know where you came from. Digging his soundtrack though. Oh, you know, I was talking about this game kind of being a downgrade from Catacomb, and I had mentioned that it was in almost every respect other than audio. We have the quasi-directional audio. I can hear when enemies shout at me from, different directions, left and right. But something else that I hadn't even mentioned, hadn't even thought of yet, is the fact that we have background music. Is this just a treasure room? Yeah, we have background music. Now it's a short loop. And I don't know if it's the only one. I actually don't remember having background music in other levels, but I wasn't really paying attention to it either. So I guess I'm gonna do that on the next level. But you remember Catacomb 3D had a single track, and the Catacomb Adventure series had none. What's back here? A big health. Yeah, and the Adventure series had no background music, which in my eyes was a bold choice, but an understandable one, probably based on file size. They put a lot of work into their visuals, and I can imagine it took up quite a bit of space. to have those animated walls and to have all the various enemies and their animations. I can't imagine there wasn't a high size cost. And remember, these games had to be distributable over floppy. So they probably worked within the parameter that they had, worked within their limitations, which is why they ended up not having any audio. And that's okay. I mean, honestly, Catacomb 3D's audio was so bad that people remember it had it, and the Adventure series didn't, because it stuck out. It's not that it was memorable for a good reason. It wasn't the Mario theme song. Dang, are you serious? Yep, every 40,000 points is a life. I will say that this level design reminds me a lot of Blakestone, which I know isn't made by id, but I think the concepts are similar. They're just these boxy areas with barely any landmarks except for basically hallway length. They want you to navigate them. And I have the same trouble in Blakestone as I do here. I just cannot find my way around these. My brain is entirely landmark based. And I try to memorize maps and such. And without any, I have a real difficult time making mental maps of this stuff. I don't know how easy it is to... Oh, there's the key. Now I got a ton of backtracking to do. I don't know how easy it is to see this in my gameplay. But a lot of what I do is blind navigation. If I see new enemies, I ain't been there before. If I see corpses, I've been there before. And that's pretty much my whole idea of how to navigate these levels. Oddly enough, I don't get motion sickness. But this game is kind of making me a little nauseous. Whoa, 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 no, no, no. Okay, I was gonna say, there's a door somewhere here. I came in it. But yeah, this game's making me just a little nauseous. I don't know if it's the pixelization or what. It is getting to me a little though. May have to take this break a little earlier than I thought. And I can promise you this. I will be using a map. I hope no one's disappointed in me for that. My second monitor will have maps on it. Okay. This is the circle room. That hallway's... Oh. I was gonna say, I've been in all of these. Oh, come on. Alright, we might be making some Oh, we are making 0 progress. Fantastic, Brian. You are doing a great job here. If it isn't apparent, I have no idea where I'm going. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The landmark. The guy that I killed between the 2 tables. No! No, the 2 tables guy led me to the... Okay, this is something I absolutely cannot deal with. And I don't want to get upset at a game. I'm not the type who will, you know, start punching my chair or throw my controller around or something. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's a video game. But at the same time, I'm not above having emotions, and frustration is definitely something I feel when doing these ridiculous backtracking things. And don't let me mince words. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm pulling up a map. I'm done with this. Thank you. Finally. Okay. Wolf 3D apps. Episode 1 for... Nope. Dang. Wait, I'm supposed to be able to read this? Alright. So I assume that's where I start. And that's where I end. Alright. Let's figure out where I am. Oh, I didn't even need the map. Come on. Cheeky game. Although I guess I should pull this back up. Get the full screen going again. Alright. And right off the bat, I already have no idea what's going on. Come on, I heard y'all. Oh, they're behind this pillar. Hey, you can still hit me though. Psych. Oh, my 180. Oh, sniping. Thank you. Come on. I guess they were in here and they came out these doors. Hello. Yeah, that's about what I thought when I saw you. Aye! Dang. So why am I going to guess that the key is on the other side of the entire map? There's one interesting thing I've noticed. I don't know if I ran into it even an instance of where this could happen in Catacomb. But sometimes I've noticed that two audio files will not play over top of each other. Oh dang, already got the key, already got the key. Alright, how do I get back? Oh, wait, maybe. Yeah, this looks legit. Yeah, does that mean I'm out already? No. Of course not, that'd be too easy. Aha! Alright, that's probably my favorite level so far, nice and quick. Whoa. He actually got hit off of me. It's okay, I'm getting a little more accustomed to this combat system. Oh! Key already. No backtracking needed. I don't know what was up with 4, 6. I officially hate it though. 7 and 8. Loving these guys. Oh, assuming I can find the door to 8, otherwise I'll be a little upset. I am excited to see what the rest of the episodes look like though. I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that they're all going to be just like this one, but I'd really like to see some innovation. The Catacomb Adventure Series is technically, I would call it 3 episodes, and I think it evolved a lot over that time. These guys could have evolved a lot over 6, and I'm hoping that's the case. I'm getting the idea we're loading up for the boss fight. Which, if this game's like Blakestone and ends up being 9 floors per episode, it would fit right in. But they are loading me up with health and ammo. There we go. And there certainly is a learning curve to this. You know, I talked about how deadly the game could be when I died on that 2nd floor. And, you know, I've been hit a couple of times where I lose 30% of my health in a shot. But at the same time, there's a rhythm to this game. And once you get in that rhythm, I think it's pretty easy to just kind of coast through. Alright, tell me this is the end.
Guten Tag! Smoothie!
Oh, dang, that guy hurt. Oh, he dropped the key. I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah!
Ha 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 ha. Alright. Congratulations, you ran out of the castle and hook up with the underground. They informed me that the rumors were true. Some hideous human experiments were seen around Castle Hollenhammer. The Operation Eisenfaust is real. You must journey there and terminate the maniacal Dr. Shabs before his undead army marches against humanity. More Wolfenstein, and in episode 3, Hitler rides in his Titanic bunker as the Third Reich crumbles about him. It is your job to assassinate him, ending his mad reign. If you like Wolfenstein, you'll love the prequel trilogy of nocturnal missions. 30 more action-packed, super challenging levels. Is it gonna like this? Wonder why shift isn't working. Oh well. Alright, so that is Wolfenstein 3D Episode 1. We will continue back with this next Friday. Ooh, not used to having a microphone in front of me. Next Friday, I think we will continue on with the next, what do they call them, episodes? Maybe I'll do 2 or 3. I'd like to get through this. The next game that we have is Spear of Destiny. And then we're going to enter into some rarer, lesser known, maybe not rarer, lesser known FPS though, after the 2 Wolf games. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also got to look up this Nocturnal Missions. It is not one of the 6 episodes, and they call it a prequel. So yeah, I'm gonna look into that, see if it's actually an FPS. I assume so, since it's made by id, but maybe they were talking about the original Wolfenstein games, the 2D ones I was talking about. So alright, thanks for dropping by. Gunbusters was a blast. Wolfenstein is a blast from the past. Technically Gunbuster, but okay, whatever. Obviously, I've not scripted this, and I am not good at these sign-offs yet. So, yeah, join me back next Friday. It'll probably be a nighttime thing. I think I'm going to push all these to nighttime. I'm going to try to stream throughout the weeks at night. And, yeah. So, thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you next time.